Hi, I'm Kevin DDR,
And I'm Aperture Grills.
and we're gonna be here today to talk about Game of Thrones pinball. This is kind of something new and different that we're gonna try and at least submit this year, and maybe, just maybe, it'll get accepted. The goal here is, I guess people maybe generally don't know about the depth that pinball has, but a lot of modern games have a lot of rules and a lot of deep, interesting stuff that really makes them play quite a lot like, a video game in a way. And one of the things that a lot of modern games share in common is what's called a wizard mode, kind of named after, Tommy, Pinball Wizard, all that stuff. Usually what a wizard mode is kind of once you've beaten everything else in the game, I guess you could view it as sort of a 100% type thing. Once you beat everything else in the game, you usually start some kind of mode that's like a multi-ball mode or something like that, where there's lots of scoring and you're kind of rewarded for all the stuff you did. And in Game of Thrones, the wizard mode is called Iron Throne. And getting to it requires basically completing every sort of quest or whatever you want to call it in the game.
Yeah, so the sort of core mechanic of Game of Thrones pinball is the different houses that are present in the series. So at the beginning of the game, you select one to play as, which gives you a different special ability. And then
and you can see the 7 houses on the playfield here. There's a set of 7 shields. You have Martell, Tyrell, Greyjoy, Stark, Baratheon, Lannister, and then Targaryen.
Yeah, and each of those represent a mode in the game.
Yes, and when you hit the corresponding colored shot when you're not in a mode a bunch of times, it'll qualify that mode, and then you can shoot the center ramp to start the mode. Of course, I was recording this game on location at a bar in Seattle, and I had to use my portable recording setup, which choked out a little bit for the first minute of the video. So I'm going to show you a very quick clip from the very start of a game, and then show you the rest of my actual good run. So I apologize about that. There's only so much I can do, and I actually have to go to a bar and bring my laptop and hundreds of dollars of cameras and a crazy rig there. So anyway, here we go. You can see at the start of the game, you choose your house, and it shows you different awards. Now, for the purpose of this run, there's actually not really a benefit in picking any of the houses for their awards. What's actually more important generally is when you pick a house, you don't actually have to light that house's mode by hitting its shot, unlike normal. It just starts lit at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, and so most of the shots that are associated with houses are shots that, like, they're orbits or ramps. They're things that are safe.
They'll return the ball to a flipper, basically.
Right. But 2 of the houses, Baratheon and Tyrell, are
these
represented
drop targets on the left,
with drop targets on the left for
and
Baratheon,
targets on the right,
and stand-up targets on the right for Tyrell. And so both of those are pretty dangerous to go for.
Yeah, so it can be good to have those preemptively lit. Of course, I say this and I completely ignore this advice because unlike if we were to run this game at GDQ, we would have the game set to 10 balls per game, which is the maximum amount you can set it to. But on location, at a bar, the game is set to a normal factory default 3 balls per game. So I had to play a little more conservatively to make sure I actually got there. With 10 balls per game, it's absolutely no problem. Any, kind of top 20 in the world player will be able to make it there every single time. And, of course, I am a top 20 in the world player. And Tim Sexton, the other player, is very, very close to that, and I have utmost confidence that both of us will make it there. So I chose to pick Martell. The reason why is because whenever you start a multi-ball mode in this game, or a multi-ball as they're called, you can get this thing called a add a ball, where if you drain, you lose a ball, you can mash this button, and it'll add a ball back into play and give you like a 10-second long ball saver. So this can be nice because it can extend your multi-ball, and since it's much safer to play a mode in multi-ball play where you only risk draining back into single ball play as opposed to, draining in single ball where it ends your ball, this is quite beneficial. So I'll select Martell, and as you can see here, you can see right now that the mode is already lit and the start mode shot is already lit as well. So first thing I'm going to do is bash away at these targets on the left. Those are to light my Baratheon mode. But more importantly, the first time you hit them in a game, it lights a ball saver at the 2 outlanes. So when you drain, you just get your ball back instead of ending your ball.
Which is really useful.
Now, these targets on the right, in addition to lighting your Tyrell mode, also light locks for multi-ball. So what this means is that you lock 3 balls on the playfield, and then it releases them for multi-ball play.
And in this game, it is a physical lock. You shoot the center ramp, and then there's this little sword.
Yeah, there's a sword that keeps the balls.
That holds the balls. And once there's 3 of them up there, then it starts the multi-ball.
So you can see now, I'm actually trying to light the Greyjoy mode. So now I have 3 modes lit. I have Baratheon, Greyjoy. Sorry, paused on the wrong frame there. Baratheon, Greyjoy, and Tyrell lit. And I forget what I choose first in this attempt. Let's see here. So now when I shoot the center shot, I'll lock a ball for multi-ball.
And it'll also give him the selection menu.
Yep.
So you can select either any single house, any pair of houses, or nothing at this time.
Yeah.
And so once you have a bunch lit and you shoot this, there's actually a ton of different options in the menu.
It's pretty insane. It can take like 15 seconds to scroll through. So in this time, I chose Baratheon and Martell. Now we're totally just going to pretend that this is in my other credit, and we're going to go straight back to... We're just going to imagine that I crushed the Martell mode, which I totally did, by the way. So let's see.
It was before that.
Yeah.
Is it 2040 is when the game started, and then like...
Here we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Totally the same game. Definitely did not have to re-record because of a broken camera and laptop. So, I finished Martell very quickly. Now, finishing Martell just entails hitting the orbits 3 times, either this or this, and then shooting a ramp.
Yeah.
But if you lose your ball before shooting the last ramp, it just finishes your mode for you.
I did not know that.
Which is what happened. So... Anyway, now I'm starting Greyjoy. This mode requires hitting each of these 5 shield shots. You can see the little shield lights that are currently unlit on the playfield. And the camera should start working right here.
Oh, right there.
Okay, so I have the dragon shot and the right orbit left. So I'm going to shoot the right orbit. Ball's going to come back down nice and safely to a trap. Stop. Take a nice controlled aimed shot at the dragon. Completely miss it. Ball back on a flipper,
and
shoot the shot. Now, go ahead.
That shot has a return kicker, and it's really powerful.
Yeah, it can actually be so powerful that it causes your flipper to drop when it hits the ball.
So then he drained.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That doesn't really matter. Again, it's all right. I didn't really lose any time. I lost one of my 3 balls, which kind of sucks, but I've got 2 houses complete, and again, we need to complete all 7 houses to get to the wizard mode. So I'm bashing away at the Tyrell targets. Now you can see the colors change to kind of a light blue. Once it changes from its normal green to light blue, that means the mode is lit. You can also tell because the shield light there is flashing.
It's blinking on the center, yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to try and shoot the center, or am I? Maybe I try to light another mode instead.
It looks like you are still grinding away at the Baratheon
So I finished the Baratheon targets to light Baratheon. Now I backhand that right ramp.
Trying to hit Stark.
Yeah, I actually did. So that's lit Stark as well. So now I have 3 houses ready to go.
And then Stark and Baratheon and Tyrell as well.
Okay, right. Because I locked my last ball for multi-ball. So conveniently, I started multi-ball, and then I also started Tyrell.
Yeah.
Now,
and having multiple balls in play is really helpful for completing some of the modes of this game.
Yep, because... and so this is kind of confusing, I guess. You can see that all the shots are blinking yellow, but then some of them are blinking green. The yellow shots are all your multi-ball, jackpot shots, and all of that stuff, just for scoring. But that doesn't really matter for progress. What we're more concerned about is the green shots. So you can safely ignore everything that's blinking yellow here. Except you can't, because Baratheon is also running at the same time.
And Baratheon is the yellow-colored mode.
Confusingly, its shots are also colored yellow. So you just have to know what you need to shoot for that, which is unfortunate. But all Baratheon involves is shooting the spinner, the dragon, and then the targets to finish it. So that ends pretty quickly.
So there is a ball save that runs at the start of multi-ball, which means that him draining all his balls at the start does not matter.
And I very quickly finished Baratheon as well.
Baratheon is a pretty quick mode. It doesn't require very many shots.
Now Tyrell, it basically...
You can get more points out of it if you play it for longer, but that's not the goal here.
So Tyrell basically just involves shooting either ramp and then the targets, and then a ramp and targets.
Probably picked up... Okay, yeah.
So each of these modes runs on a timer, and when the timer runs out, even if you haven't finished the mode, it just stops and you have to restart it.
So he just picked up an extra ball which I believe is lit once you complete enough modes.
Yeah, it's lit once you complete 3 houses.
Okay.
So, or maybe 2. No, it's 3.
It must be 3.
Anyway,
and then once you complete a 4th, the mini wizard mode, Hand of the King, is
lit. That was a very nice nudge there. So now we've got 3 houses lit. Tyrell, which is almost done, and Stark, which is not started. So Stark requires hitting either ramp 3 times, and then shooting either of the orbits to finish. So there's 2. Trap the ball. Oh, actually I don't. I try and finish Tyrell first, which I do. That was the last shot in Tyrell, so it's done now.
Yeah, you can how Tyrell works, for what it's worth, is it alternates between making you shoot one of the shots. Yeah, you explained it already. Yeah. Okay, and then hit the targets.
So there we finish Stark with a 3rd shot to the ramp and then the orbit. And
now Hand of the King, the mini wizard mode, is lit.
And I drained. So great.
But it stays lit.
Yeah. Hand of the King, actually, what would have been nice, well, if I hadn't drained, in a setting where you have basically unlimited balls, 10 balls per game, once you start this mode, you just slide the machine around as hard as you can to tilt your ball, which is, the game has a tilt sensor in it, and when you shake the game enough, you get a warning or a danger, and then another danger, and then a tilt, which just immediately ends your ball.
Yeah, because for speedrunning to Iron Throne, you don't care what you do in Hand of the King at all.
It's literally...
you just want to let the balls go. It's an
auto-scroller. So you can actually... I actually use a maneuver called a drop catch here, which is usually used to get control of the ball. Here, I just intentionally drop catch the balls into the drain over and over.
He's just stopping the balls so they don't bounce around and do other stuff before the drain.
So here, we're done with Hand of the King.
And then he keeps the last ball alive so that he can keep playing.
And...
there's another feature of this game where if you shoot each shot enough, it starts something called Winter is Coming. And then it does that really crazy lighting effect and makes you hit the shot again, and nothing else is valuable on the playfield until you've done that. So instead, he just drained, apparently.
So here we're in the most dangerous mode of the game to play in single ball, Lannister. Lannister requires hitting these little yellow targets that kill you when you shoot them, basically.
Yeah.
To light the other shots.
People frequently call them death targets because they're what you hit when you miss, and it's pretty liable that just the ball is going to bounce into the drain.
So normally I would want to play this with multi-ball, but I didn't want to spend enough time to relight my multi-ball. So I was just like, screw it, we're going to do it in single ball play. And I think we just did it successfully in one shot, actually, which was...
Looks like it.
Quite cool.
So how this mode works is each time you hit one of the stand-ups, it lights one of the actual shots with the red shield.
And you have to hit 5.
So you have to hit, okay.
And the stand-ups actually, I think, like 2 red shots each, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
You could kind of just slam away. So I finished it. So now all we have left is Targaryen, which is the dragon shot.
Yeah, lit by the dragon shot.
Now, this is actually the craziest mode in the game because it's not just one mode. You'll also notice it's the only house you can't pick at the start of the game. It's actually 3 modes. Surprise! So every time you finish Targaryen, you just have to start the mode again at the center ramp.
And there was that Winter is Coming shot on the center, which means he won't see that again.
So each cycle of this, you basically hit stuff to do damage to the dragon. And then once you hit enough shots, you shoot the dragon to finish the mode, which is this little kicker shot.
Except that you're finishing phases of the mode, because there's 3.
So the first one, you just have to hit either ramp, either orbit, and then the dragon. The second one, I believe you have to hit both ramps, both orbits, and then the dragon, something like that. And then the third one is just a mess.
Okay, so there's the first phase done, and now
you'll see it's still lit.
Start mode is still lit, which is not normally the case.
So I'll pick Targaryen again. Now, this could be obnoxious because the lights sometimes don't come back on for a few seconds, just a code bug. So you just kind of have to play blind for a few seconds.
I have not seen that before.
Yeah, if you hit a shot too quickly, it can do that. So now I'm gonna hit the other ramp. Hitting it from the right flipper is what's known as a backhand because it's not the intended shot or not the intended flipper for the shot.
And but again, you saw him backhand the left orbit.
Yeah, it's
actually a safer thing to do.
It's either safer or it's sometimes easier too. Yeah. So
it can be both. And then he's probably gonna post pass here.
The post pass on this game actually is kind of flaky. So I think I might. Still a little flaky.
Yeah, so what that is basically releasing the flipper button and then hitting it again, more or less as fast as possible. Yeah,
you kind of bounce the ball off of the slingshot.
Yeah, to bash it off the bottom of the sling and over to the upper flipper is the hope, anyway.
Yep. So
now...
I timed the mode out. It just didn't...
There's the last shot.
Yeah, so I had to...
that was some good flipper skills.
I had to restart the mode again. Finished it there. And then...
And now...
I think I just shot the orbit because the ball was kind of out of control.
Yeah.
Trap up again.
Just a way to get back in control and then hitting...
Oh.
What are you doing?
Oh, I remember why I did this. Because I was on ball 3 and I was very nervous. I wanted to have multi-ball ready for this last mode. Yeah, so I shot the orbit a couple times. If you hit these little lanes at the top of the playfield enough times, you get a multi-ball which you can start at the dragon shot. So just to make this mode a little safer, because it requires like 12 shots or more.
Yeah, and then
I wanted to start multi-ball
first. This is called wall multi-ball.
Yeah,
for the wall in Game of Thrones.
Now this multi-ball kind of sucks. It's actually not worth that many points usually, but you'll see it lights these 2 shots purple. We can just safely ignore that and only focus on the blue shots.
Yeah, because his only goal is to use this to make it safer to finish.
So in this mode, normally if you play it in single ball play, you can see there's a little health bar for the dragon. And every time you shoot a shot, you just very briefly saw it there. It lowers the health bar, and the goal is to shoot enough shots so that the health bar goes to 0, and then shoot the dragon to finish the mode.
So is the dragon lit now to finish it?
No, I have to keep shooting the dragon and then keep shooting every other shot.
Okay.
Now, I think you have to do 3 full sets, and now if you take too long to do any of those 3 sets, you actually have to redo it. So this mode can just kind of go on forever. You'll see I'm having a lot of trouble.
And then orbit. Okay, I registered.
Just flip away at that shot.
Even though it didn't go
and one more shot to the dragon.
Okay, and then one more set? Yeah. Oh, very, very clean.
Nice.
The 2.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, frequently in this game, you'll hit one of those target banks and the ball will neatly bounce over and whack the other one.
I think I had a lot of trouble trying to shoot the dragon. Oh, no, I got it on my first try. Okay. So now, just drain out a multi-ball. It doesn't matter. And you can actually see at this point the blue flashing light right there. That's the light that means, hey, the wizard mode is lit. So wait for this animation to time out. And now Iron Throne is ready.
Okay, and there we are. That's time.
Yes. So
once the animation starts, for the purposes of this, he now doesn't care.
Yep. And that is the end of the run. I go on to play the wizard mode later on, but that's not really important for the purpose of this video. So I don't have a actual time of the run because the first minute or so was lost, but just the part that we saw was about 10 minutes long. So my estimate is roughly 12 to 13 minutes. Tim Sexton's time, I believe, was 13 minutes 30. So yeah, I think that's roughly what we can expect. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching as usual. Goodbye.